Because I mean, having listened to some of those recent submissions that you made, I mean, yes, you talked about the LRA, and then there are those who will tell you about the North Vietnam scenario. Some others will tell you about Israel, Hamas, and so the nature of ceasefire, especially if there isn't one particular group that you can tie that down to. Perhaps in this case, the Bono elders are also speaking about, look, there may be different groups about this one. Don't you think that's going to maybe dampen the psychological makeup of a lot of Nigerians who will be out and out optimistic, saying, yes, maybe finally this will sort it out? And especially if another attack happens in maybe 2, 3, what do you think that will do to people's psyche?
Once again, the psyche of a nation is embedded in its spirit to overcome. What we can do is ensure that the media itself encourages people to be cautiously optimistic as opposed to be exuberantly optimistic. The exuberance of hope must not be dampened, but the realities of an asymmetrical conflict needs to be understood by the people so that they do not relax. This is part of the issue that we need to address. We mustn't relax on the understanding that the conflict is under control. We should increase our vigilance. We should increase our support for our military. We should increase our constant observation of elements in the environment that we are suspicious of, because we are at war. And in a situation of war, it is necessary for the people to consistently support the efforts of their leadership by being vigilant, as opposed to being optimistically exuberant. That would not help.
Should there have been maybe any deliberate statement from government? Because if you look at how this eventually broke, there are reports that Chadian President Idris Deby was part of those who brokered peace here and this negotiation in the first place. But the countries where this group operates, we've seen Nigeria, Cameroon border, even Chad. So you have people asking, wait a minute, should we maybe question the motive or the source of this ceasefire agreement when those countries are all supposed to be fighting, have a common enemy? Does that even matter from your perspective?
Once again, let us consider a united front against an enemy that is difficult to identify specifically. And let us desist from having conversations that encourage disunity. Our neighbors, Chad, Cameroon, Niger, their efforts are very much welcome. We are a group of countries that collaborate on several fronts, and it is in the interest of all of us to continue this collaboration. When your friends support you, it is incumbent on you to genuinely support them as well. And in the pursuit of these collaborative ideas, we have had a conversation that leads us to expect more of peaceful negotiations in the future. My concern actually is that we have not heard from the enemy. We have not heard confirmation or denouncement of what it is that is ongoing. And that is another example of why cautious optimism is important. We on our part are responsible as a country. We on our part are responsible as a people. We on our part are peaceful in our intent. However, the territorial integrity of the country must not be undermined, and we need to focus on ensuring that all efforts being made are given a chance to bear fruit.
I think I saw the picture here because truly there's some comments that can actually jeopardize this whole process if we're not too careful, knowing full well that what's at stake here, especially the Chibok girls' release, and we're hoping that that can happen this week. Are you hopeful?
I am always hopeful. However, I am also realistic. the hope for the release of our girls must be eternal until they are released. The process is ongoing, and in these negotiations, the best support we can give is not to speculate on when or how. It is to continue to pray for our girls, continue to assist in any way we can with information to our government, and to continue to rely on the goodwill of our friends to give us important information with regard to how soon, when, where we can meet with, let's call them reliable representatives of the enemy to give us real indication of circumstances surrounding the release of these very important.
Would you be very comfortable if it turns out that there is an exchange? Would you be okay with an exchange? Maybe some members of Boko Haram exchange for the girls?
That is a very interesting question. And oftentimes the negotiators are in a position to determine the currency of exchange. You have suggested a currency of exchange that might be on the table already. There are several currencies of exchange in negotiations. And to preempt the currency that is going to be applied in this situation would be one of those ideas that might not be productive. We do not know the depth and the quality of peoples that we want to exchange for. We do know for certain that our girls are worth more than anybody can measure. The metric for the measurement of the value of our girls is not within logical measure. It's emotional, it's national, it's actually global. The concept that one girl can be taken from a place where her parents figure that she is secure is a threat to all children. Therefore, the currency to be used in securing the release of these children is one that we would not put a measure on. However, we would trust the capacity and the leadership of the negotiators to do their very best to come out with a solution that we would appreciate.